Oh, hello everybody, it is I, the one and only Russian Batman in live action as, ooh, it's crazy. I got this, suit jacket. No, the suit, shirt print, look at it. It's pretty epic, right? And that's because, this is for a special occasion. Yes, today I'm gonna be giving my honest thoughts on the Mario movie. So I just got out of it, and I wanted to kind of give my little bit of a review, a little bit of an opinion on certain things surrounding the movie as well. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. I got a little drink here, pretty good. You can't really drink with this thing on, can you? But yeah, first off, obviously before I started watching the movie, I started seeing a lot of these reviews come in. The reviews I've seen, like the actual video face-to-face people reviewing the movie, a lot of them are really positive. Like the actual reviews I've seen on YouTube, a lot of them are extremely positive, and I was really hyped to see the movie. However, on Rotten Tomatoes, they were not. They were extremely negative. I think currently it has around a 50% Rotten Tomatoes critic score and a 90 something percent audience score. So that's kind of a little bit shocking, if I'm being honest. And it really kind of shows the disconnect between critics and audiences. And I think it just goes beyond differences of people's opinions. I think there's a kind of a issue, not an issue, but a real disconnect between actual moviegoers and critics. And I think it's a little bit of an issue when their job is to determine how good a movie is, when movies are meant for people that enjoy movies. I don't know how else to put it. But yeah, it is. And like I said, you got movies on there, Nightbrick showed me this screenshot of Cuties having 80% and the Mario having 50. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. But on the internet, no one's really had that negative opinions that I've actually seen, except for Just Too Good. He definitely has a very negative opinion. I mean, to each their owns, but what were you expecting? I honestly don't get Just Too Good's view on, kind of movies in general. He just I feel like he likes to be a contrarian. No, not even contrarian. He just has such a high standard for what a film should be that, everything that's just enjoyable isn't he can't just enjoy things. And then he also says stop criticizing. I love kids movies. I watched Toy Story 2. It's my favorite movie. Because you watched it when you were a kid. I guarantee, this is a side rant, but I guarantee if Just Too Good watched Toy Story 2 today, without have seen it before, he would not like it. I guarantee, I would place money on it if I were to go to an alternate reality and show him that, okay? But Just Too Good side rant aside, I respect him. It's just his movie opinions are, let's just say, an acquired taste, okay? But let's get into the actual movie itself, and is it really good or is it really bad? So I'm gonna get into it. So first off, non-spoilers, but I thought the movie was very entertaining for a Mario movie. I agree, as a movie, it's not perfect. For example, it is extremely fast-paced, and if you don't like that, you're not going to like this movie. I mean, it's just scene after scene after scene. They never really stop to kind of do anything, which, if I'm being honest, I would prefer a fast-paced movie opposed to a really slow-paced movie. Because, if it's really, really slow, it really bogs it down. But if it's really fast, if you don't like it, it doesn't matter because it's over in 2 seconds, right? So I do enjoy that. It does feel like it's kind of designed for people that have really low attention spans. But overall, I do really like it. The fast pace does really work for action scenes and whatnot, and just kind of getting the movie rolling. You never feel like you're stuck at some place this scene I have to get dragged through. The beginning's a little bit slow, but once it gets rolling, it really gets rolling, and I really like that. Also, the voice cast in general, I loved it. I feel like everyone just really worked, if that makes sense. Chris Pratt, you don't even really hear Chris Pratt after a certain point. It kind of just sounds like a new Mario voice, if I'm being honest. It really does work. I love Charlie Day's Luigi. Keegan-Michael Key, you don't hear Keegan-Michael Key. I honestly, out of all the voices, I'm really impressed with his, because you just don't hear him. Jack Black is also really good. You do hear a little bit of Jack Black, like especially with the singing and whatnot. But overall, it's just a really good, deep Bowser voice. I remember my first reaction to the first trailer, I was just shocked because it's just really good. Peach was good as well. I liked her character. I think sometimes it's a little bit of side. She could be a little bit too much like, oh, girl boss and whatnot, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. I liked your character. And all the characters were overall pretty good. There's not like a single character I could say was like overly annoying or annoying sidekick, you know? I know Just Too Good really didn't. I hate to harp on Just Too Good's opinion, but he really didn't like Charlie Day and Toad, and I thought they weren't annoying. They were fine. And especially the relationship between Mario and Luigi. I love that. I dig it. I love that kind of brotherly connection they had going, and it's really a shame that they're not really together for more of the movie. They are separated for most of the movie, which is a little bit of a shame, because you don't really get that much Luigi, which is a shame. If they do a sequel, which they probably will, they really should do like more Luigi, right? And then that's kind of my non-spoiler thoughts. I'm gonna get to spoilers for a second, but however, just so you all know, there are 2 end credit scenes. There's one scene at the very, very end, and then there's one scene like towards the middle of the end, if that makes sense, like a post credit and end credit scene. So if you're gonna watch, stay tuned for those if you want to see them. Yeah, but also. Sorry, another thought I just had, I forgot to mention earlier. But this movie, if you're expecting this movie to blow you away, I don't think it really will. It's really good. It's really fun. It's nothing outstanding, but it is just a really solid adaptation of Mario, right? You really feel like you're just playing the game, but in a bigger scale. You know, like as a movie. You know, they really translate that feeling, and I think that's the most important thing, and that's what they do right. So let's get into spoilers. So, big spoiler warning. If you don't want spoilers, click off now. You got warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mario dies. No, he doesn't die. I kid. I laugh. Haha. But on to the spoilers. Nitty gritty stuff I really liked. But yeah, so the first scene in Brooklyn, I really love that. All the references, there are so many references. There's a lot of Punch-Out references. I loved all that because I'm a huge Punch-Out fan. So I loved all the Punch-Out references. I hope if they did a Punch-Out movie, that would be amazing. I don't think it would ever happen, but that would be so cool. All the Punch-Out references in New York, and then the little arcade with Jumpman on it. It was perfect. I just really liked that. The first scene with like the dog was whatever. Like that escaped this like vicious dog. The dog, a lot of the background character designs really give you Illumination feel, right? Where the main characters, they really feel like Mario and Luigi, where some of the background characters just kind of feel like Illumination dog. And, you know, it really felt like something stripped out of like Secret Life of Pets. That's not terrible. But yeah, it wasn't that great, but really just seeing the chemistry between Mario and Luigi, when like Mario stands up for Luigi after like, you know, Foreman Spike threatens him, I thought that was really good. Foreman Spike had a really small role in the movie. I guess it was cool having like a character that old in the movie, but still, he was kind of a non-present. And then you had the cameo from the original voice actor Charles Martinet in the movie, which I was expecting him to play either like Wario or Waluigi or maybe like Mario's dad. But he doesn't. He plays a random kind of side character who's just kind of there. I guess you could say he's like the original Jumpman, but I was expecting him to be like actually related to Mario and Luigi. And I liked when they played that first commercial, how the Mario voice was just was done for the commercial, right? And even like, hey, was the voice a little bit too much? I don't know, you know? It didn't really feel like a jab at the voice. Like, you know, in a superhero movie, when they wear the classic costume, like, this is stupid. And then, like, they get, like, the more modern costume. It didn't really feel like that. It just kind of felt like they're acknowledging the voice, but not making fun of it, right? Acknowledging that this isn't the Mario voice, but still kind of having, like, an in-universe explanation for why people associate Mario with the voice. I thought that was pretty cool. That was clever. Um, and then yeah, and then they get stuck to the Mushroom Kingdom, and all that shenanigans happen. Like I said, Luigi gets separated. The whole scene with Luigi escaping all the skeleton, Koopas or whatever they're called. That was good. That was good to get a lot of Luigi Mansion's vibe and the kind of the theme of Luigi being too scared. And I like how they give him all characteristics, right? Like Luigi's scared, and they kind of expand upon it, right? Like Luigi's kind of always relied on his brother, and then they kind of feel sad, separated, and whatnot. I thought it was kind of cool seeing the characteristics, and like also seeing like how Mario kind of feels like a failure. I thought that was kind of cool. Giving like Mario characters besides just being wahoo upbeat, he never gives up. He looks out for his brother, and whatnot. He's a little bit of disappointment in the family, but he wants to make it big. He wants to chase his dreams. And I thought that was cool. Just giving characteristics to characters that are fairly generic. So, also Donkey Kong, he was cool. Also, they got the eel from Mario 64. That was epic. I love the eel from Mario 64. That was great. Just all the references overall were great. The Mario Kart sequence, chef's kiss. I love that. Like I said, all the music was great, except they added a little bit of 80s pop in there. Like 80s rock, which I didn't mind. At least it's not like modern day pop music. Like I think the 80s kind of style music fits better because Mario is such an old character. If that makes sense, if that line of thinking makes sense, maybe it doesn't to you, but it does to me. But yeah, overall, like I said, and then the ending was pretty. I liked Bowser's motive. Like in this movie, the motive isn't to take over the world like the trailers make you think. It's to marry Princess Peach, which I think is very in line with the games. And overall, the movie it's not as serious as the trailers make it seem out to be. It's a very simple story, and the character motivations are very simple, and the stakes aren't super high, but I really like it. It stays in line with the kind of goofier tune of the games, the goofier kind of attitude, and it sticks with that, and I think it's really good. I think it works because of it, and it's just, it just ends up being kind of like just a fun movie. That's the best way to describe it. It's just a really enjoyable movie. If you're not a big Mario fan, you're probably not going to like it. You're probably just going to think it's a generic animated movie, which the plot and everything else, I mean, it kind of is to an extent, but at the same time, it feels like such a passionate love letter to all Nintendo fans and Mario fans, right? The amount of detail and the amount of detail and the work put in to make this kind of feel like it is like so true to Mario. I think it's very impressive, and films really need to take from this, right? Especially video game adaptations. They need to just kind of, because they don't explain all the stuff or have reasoning. Why do mushrooms do this? Why does this do this? No, they're like, it is what it is, and that's just the world. And it kind of makes you believe it a little bit more, because if they explain everything, well, then the stuff they don't explain, they want you to, you think like, well, why is this? In this movie, it just is because it's Mario, right? And that's all you really need. If you're not a Mario fan, maybe you're like, scratching your head like all these critics. But if you really enjoy Mario and you're a fan, this movie is made for you.
Also, one more last minute thing I would like to mention is the end credit scene at the very end teasing Yoshi. I didn't think was that good because we already saw Yoshi's early in the movie, so I don't get what the tease was. I wish it was a Waluigi or something like that. But yeah, it's my thoughts on the end credits.
So, I give this movie, let's as a fan, it's super hype, and I'm gonna give it, let's say like an 8 out of 10, right? It's not perfect. It could have been a little bit slower at parts, but I give it like 8.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's my personal opinion. If you guys disagree, if you guys think the movie is terrible, let me know. But yeah, that's what I think of the movie. I really loved it, and y'all have a nice rest of the day, and go watch the 2011 film Rango. All right, see ya. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, see ya. Ciao.